Hello everyone, I'm here to read for you a chapter from a book called Right Source 2000, which seems to have been a book given out to high school children. It is for learning purposes, but I think this particular chapter and the book as a whole have a lot of things to offer. I'm just going to read my favorite chapter though. It's called Thinking Better. The Planet of Bad Thinkers. Suppose you're an astronaut and your space capsule accidentally slips out of orbit. You sail through the blackness of space and finally land on a planet called Block. While NASA sends out a rescue ship, you decide to look around. What you discover is astounding. The creatures on Block, who call themselves Chips, are bad thinkers. Every one of them. Everything they try fails. Everything they build falls down. It's a miracle they survive. They don't seem to understand anything. You don't know if NASA will ever find you, but in case they ever do, you make a list of all the things the Chips do wrong when they try to think. Someday your list might save your fellow Earthlings from making a mess of their own planet. What would you put on your list? Maybe something like this? Why the Chips are down. Chips are in too big a hurry. They never set goals. They never ask questions. They ignore the evidence. They believe whatever they read. They go with the crowd. They stick with their first emotional reaction. They talk in cliches and think in slogans. They never connect what they've learned in one subject to another. They never think about how they think. They never write anything down. Is it any wonder the planet Block is a mess? If you ever get home to Earth, don't be a chip off the old block, and warn your fellow Earthlings what can happen if they turn into bad thinkers. Becoming a better thinker. Ironically, the lessons we learn about thinking from the planet of bad thinkers are the same lessons we need to learn in order to become better thinkers ourselves. Here are those lessons with a few added thoughts. Be patient. Don't expect quick, easy solutions to every problem or challenge you face. Good thinking often takes time and requires you to plan, read, listen, and discuss. Set goals. Think about what you should or can do now, short-term goals, and what you have to patiently work on step by step to accomplish, long-term goals. Be curious. Gather all kinds of information, wonder about how things work, and consider the many possible solutions a problem may have. Think logically. Think beyond your knee-jerk emotions or the first answer that pops into your head. Look at all sides of a question, propose reasonable and sensible solutions, then support these thoughts with good reasons, interesting examples, and solid evidence. Ask questions. Ask yourself about what you read, what you hear, even what you see. If you think you know what it is, then ask why, who, when, where, how much, why not? Ask if questions. If this is true, then why? Think for yourself. Think carefully about each problem or issue and develop your own system for attacking a problem. Listen to others and learn from or build on what they have to say. Be creative. Do not settle for the obvious answer or the usual way of doing things. Experiment, invent, redesign, reenact, rewrite. Make connections. Learn from experience. Use what you have learned to help you solve new problems. Use comparisons, analogies, metaphors. Be aware of how you think. Supervise your thinking. Watch yourself as you work through a thinking task and be prepared to steer your mind wherever you must to meet the challenge. Slow down, speed up, zoom in, back up, switch tactics. Write things down. Writing can help you clarify thoughts and remember them longer. It can help you discover things you didn't know you knew. It can help you sort through your thoughts and see them in a new light. It can do more than you ever imagined. Why bother to think? There are a lot of good reasons to think. Thinking saves time. Thinking prevents accidents. Thinking leads to success. Thinking can be fun, and so on. But the most obvious reason for thinking is that thinking helps you figure things out. And if you're like everybody else, you have lots of problems to solve. How can I get this moped onto that tailgate without getting a hernia? Decisions to make? Should I invite Sharon and Janelle to my party when I know they're jealous of each other? Concepts to understand. What does Mr. Farrar mean when she refers to human rights, things to evaluate? Is being in the church choir worth 3 hours of my time every week? Arguments to build. I've got to convince my parents that a 9:30 bedtime is too early. For all of these problems, if you think clearly, you'll find your own solutions. If you don't, you'll be stuck. How to think. When you try to figure things out for yourself, you use clusters of basic thinking skills or strategies. Luckily, you've been using some of these skills since you first began to walk and talk. Now you can do the easiest ones without any effort, the way a cat gathers itself for a leap, or the way you ride a bicycle, no hands. When you can do simpler tasks without struggling, your mind is free to focus on more complicated operations. If it gets hung up, it will circle back to a simpler task, like noticing a new detail or recalling a comment somebody made, to get the thinking process under control once again. It's the same as when your bicycle hits a pothole. Suddenly, you're very aware of your steering again, the way you were the first time your two-wheeler went wobbling down the walk.